Okay, hello everyone. My name is Robert Hollis. I hope you're having a blessed day. This is my Ask Me Anything. And I just love these. I love these. I've been really doing some incredible videos lately, and people have been telling me, wow, I do the simple thing you tell me to do and it works. And I'm going like, amazing. So hi, Nicholas, Ola, Kai. I don't know if I don't want to miss us. Sasha. Oh my God. Sasha sent me some voice clips and it was word for word. It was like re-listening to one of mine. So hi, James. Hi, Naomi. Melvin, man, congratulations on your rank advance. Hi, Delroy. Got some great people here. So we're recording now, and I'll go ahead. And so again, like Matt said, I'll just say it so it's on the recording. You know, there's two ways that you can ask questions. One is just type your question in. Matt's an excellent reader. I taught him how to read. That's a whole different story. I taught my son how to read, and he's an amazing reader, and I'm dyslexic and I suck at reading. So it just goes to show, if you follow a proven system, you know, I got a book. It was a #1 bestseller. 101 lessons to learn how to read. And I went through 101 lessons in a row. And look at the number of books that Matt has behind him. Matt, how many books have you read this year?
This year, I think I'm at like 32. Last year, I read like 80, like 84 or something like that. But yeah. I'm one of those guys that, like, I have a habit of reading. I read every morning with my morning coffee. I read before I go to bed. I'm just one of those guys that like has that as a habit, one of those people. So I love to read fiction, nonfiction stuff. So
very cool. So yeah, one way is type your question in. I see Rochelle's already done that. And again, like Matt says, another way is to raise your hand if you're on camera, or raise your hand like Bill and Lisa Marie has done. So so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get started. And Matt, who should we bring on first?
No, absolutely. Bill had his hand up first.
Okay.
Bill Shoemaker. So I'm going to ask him to unmute. Bill, you there?
All right. Hello, everybody. Robert.
How you doing, Bill?
Happy Saturday.
Yeah, happy Saturday. You are an incredible human being. And you know, you actually have answered all my questions. You do it over and over again. But I was curious, and that I learned over a weekend of leadership that I was at in Scottsdale this past weekend. And there's two important things. One is vision, which you have an incredible vision, I know for sure. And what drives a vision is purpose in life. So what is your purpose? What really drives you to move forward in My Daily Choice?
Bill, thank you very much. And one of the things that when I say this to you guys, some of you are not going to like it, because I believe that if you're just quiet and you listen, all of you will hear your purpose. And here it is in one line. The only way, not the one way, the only way to greatness is the service of many. So not that I thought about my purpose, but when I met somebody that could show me how to never worry about money again, have a lifestyle, build a legacy for my family. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys realize, I have made a decision and put my head down and focus and listen to other people, that my children's children will always get to point at me is that's the guy that was brave. That's the guy that found a mentor and did what he was supposed to do. That's the guy. I'm not even going to meet them, and I'm going to set up their legacy for years and years to come. I got to break the financial bondage that is running my family their entire lives, because I was willing to listen to others. So Bill, my first sort of deal is I just basically, you know, I'm bold. And I just said, God, if you get me out of this, if you'll lead me to where I need to go and follow the people I need to follow, I will spend the rest of my life taking this wisdom and knowledge and giving it to other people. And so that's my purpose. Now, with that purpose, I have had to raise my goals, because I had to figure out how to help other people. So that's when the charities came into play. That's when the orphans came into play. And now all of a sudden it's like, I need not tens of millions, I need hundreds of millions of dollars to take care of children. And so there's no better fulfillment in the world than getting a card or getting on a Zoom with a bunch of children that don't have a mother and father, and they tell me what I've done for them. Oh, man, it's like, come on. And my wife is that way with animals, you know, so, you know, when you really realize that in the United States, that the government's got this thing set up where you can donate 44% of your income and write it right off the top of your taxes. And so some people struggle with trying to find a way to give at all. And so, you know, so that's my purpose, Bill. My purpose is exactly what I'm doing on here. It is just be the, you know, just be there for the people that really want to change their lives. Now, I know a lot of people want to, and what I teach is easy, but it's easier not to. So the one thing that really, really has bothered me, Bill, my entire life is why when I show people exactly how to do something, they just refuse to do it. It's mind-boggling to me. But they would just rather have the limiting beliefs, and there you go. So thank you, Bill. Thank you very much for that question. I appreciate it.
Incredible, Robert. Thank you. You're
Thank you,
awesome.
Bill.
Yeah.
All right, up next, it looks like Lisa Marie has her hand up. Lisa, I'm going to ask you to unmute and ask your question. You there,
Hey,
Lisa?
hi guys. Can you hear
Hey,
me?
nice to see you, Lisa.
Good to see you. Robert, thank you so much for doing this. You are amazing. You
So
are
you.
amazing.
So are you.
What I admire most about you is how you teach us through the principles of like the science of getting rich and Think and Grow Rich. And I find that it's mind blowing. I admire that about you.
Thank you.
So my question actually is pertaining to chapter 13,
Okay.
getting into the right business. Okay. And I'm very curious back when you had your accident.
Correct.
Okay. And you had crew chiefs set in your sights,
Yeah.
right? That's an amazing, amazing thing to want to have, to be that close to. How did you go away? Because there's other ways with technology that you maybe could have stayed in that same line of work.
Right.
Do you know where I'm coming from here? So
I totally do. I totally do. And Lisa, the only thing that sort of got me sideways again is wisdom comes from failures, right? And so my mentor told me this story because I think a lot of you don't know this about me, but I got into marketing temporary. So I needed to make money to turn my electricity on, stop having the repo man follow me around, and not to get kicked out of my apartment. It was really, really dark times. I was on workman's comp for 9 months. So my income went from about $3,000 take home to $900. And so things were getting bad really fast. You know, banks that you're paying payments on, my biggest payment at that time was Snap-on, you know, for my tools of being a mechanic. So I had a toolbox taller than me. And so I needed to find a way to make money. And Bill said to me, you know, Robert, I can show you how to make $3,800 in a couple of weeks if you pay attention. And so at the beginning, Lisa, I wasn't interested in doing what he was doing. I was interested in him showing me how to make $3,800. He asked me that magic question. I'm going to be doing those videos next week. And so he said, Robert, what's the magic number? And I said, magic number. He says, tell me the amount of money that you need right now. And that was my number, 3,800. You know what I mean? So now I'm learning from him. And so as it's going, he said to me, so what's the goals? What's the game? You know, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to be a crew chief. And he goes, really? He said, believe it or not, I was in pre-med. I go, pre-med? you told me that you took tires off and on. You worked at a tire store. And then you installed stereos. He goes, yeah, but my mom and dad wanted me to be a doctor. And he said, so when he met his mentor, they said the same thing. He said, so do you know the hospital you would like to work at during your internship? And he goes, oh yeah. He goes, this is my goal, become a doctor, go work at this hospital in Austin, Texas, and do this, this, and this. And he said, have you ever thought about just going to Austin's hospital and actually taking a couple of doctors out for coffee or taking them out for a beer, and said, if you could change anything, would you do this career? And he said, talk to many as you can. He said, I talked to 10 people. So his mentor was a construction worker, and his dream was always to own a construction company. Isn't that crazy, you guys? We all have this dream within our dream, right? And he said, my mentor told me to do that. I talked to my boss and 2 other people, and they said, nah, I would sell this in a heartbeat. And he asked why. And he says, don't get mad at me, but good employees are hard to find. You're really responsible for their work. Sometimes you can't grow to a place because you don't have enough of you, so, it just comes to a point where you can't, and it's funny, you hear this on Shark Tank all the time, right? It's like, I don't see how you can build this business big enough. You can't scale it. And it's like, well, no, I make Christmas hats for elves. And they're like, that's too small of a business. But, people get caught up in their dreams. So going back to my story is Bill said that I went out and talked to 10 doctors. And all 10 doctors said that they got in, 1, to make money, but 2, to make a difference. They really care for people, took the oath, and they really wanted to do it. But the health industry turned it into something they didn't like. And that was, I got to run through people very quickly. I don't get a chance to get to know them. And then I can't give them the proper care that I'm told that I think they should need. It's like the hospital tells me what I need to do. So I can't really take care of my patients the way I wanted to. And so every one of them said, I didn't plan on being an intern and working 12-hour shifts in the middle of the night. You're tired. I shouldn't be working 12 hours straight and pulling a double shift and trying to take care of people's health when I feel like I need a nap. I should be alert. So he said, based on them, and he said, once you become a doctor, half of your income goes to malpractice insurance. All of a sudden, the only big guys that make money is people that own their own clinics. It's like, so you don't know what you don't know. That's ignorance. And so he told me that story, and I decided to do exactly what he told me to do. So I knew the guys, right? I worked for Roger Penske. He had 14 different teams when I was working with him. So we had teams with Formula One, teams with IndyCar, teams with Indy Light, teams with NASCAR, teams with Infinity, teams with super trucks, Roger Mears off-road trucks, anything that got some motor, Roger Penske's in it. So I had a lot of crew chiefs to talk to, and every one of them said the same thing. He goes, stupidest mistake of my life. And I go, why? He says, there's only 52 weekends in a year, and I'm on the road every one of them. Wow. My kids have their own lives. My wife takes care of my kids. They got soccer, they got karate. They can't leave their lives to come be on my life. And I'm like a professional coach, like in football. So if a football has a bad season, the first person that goes is the coach. And he goes, but no one thinks about it. If you get fired as a head coach or a crew chief, where do you go? You don't go down and work on go-karts. Okay, I'll be a crew chief on a go-kart. No, people are going, wait a minute. Didn't so-and-so fire you? So unfortunately, when you got in a team mode like that, there's 43 teams in NASCAR, only one where it wins the world championship. So that means that the other 42 didn't. And so he was telling me that, and he goes, oh my God. And he said, I thought that, that I would make a lot of money in this position. It's nowhere close. I'd love to be able to fly my family out to some of the races, but they're too busy. And I'm just constantly under all this pressure. And so that is what turned me, Lisa, is talking. So if you guys got dreams about being any kind of a business person, I know that some of you know this about me, and I'll go to the next question, but I looked at, people like Tony Robbins and Brendan Burchard and Les Brown. And of course, some of my all favorites, Jim Rohn, you know what I mean? And I thought, I have already did the marketing thing. I'm going to go out and build my own brand. I'm going to do my own seminars. I'm going to be a public speaker. I'm going to write books. I'm going to do all of that stuff. Hated every second of it. And for two reasons. Listen, you guys, is majority of people still don't listen to me. A majority of people will still not apply themselves and get the results they should. And it just felt weird for me when people are spending $150 or $500 or $1,400 or $4,000 or $10,000. Now, when they're spending that money and they're not doing what I tell them to do and they don't get results, it doesn't make me feel good at all. I wish I wouldn't have took their money. And all the people that do that kept telling me, Robert, it's their problem. You go to school and to get a degree in college, if you don't apply yourself and don't get a degree, it's not their fault. And I just went, I don't care. I don't like the way it feels. So that's why you guys know, and 4 years ago, I stepped back into the marketing world where I can get people involved in a company for free. And if they don't do what I tell them, I didn't put them in a worse place. So this is my love by far. I've always helped more people in this than any, and I always dreamed of where I am right now. I go, one day there's going to be a company that is going to be able to allow people to get in for free, and they can learn for free, and the back office is free, and the app is free, and everything is free. And then if they don't apply themselves, they can, like I said in one of my videos, they never, ever, ever again can say that they never had a chance to make a difference. So one last thing I'll say is I love this industry because I get to create a cash flow so that I can do whatever I want to do. My passions change, my purpose change, and it always has time and freedom and money. You know what I mean? And so when you got a lot of money and you got a lot of freedom, you can do some pretty cool things. You know what I mean? So thank you so much for the question. That was a great question. I hope that helped. Awesome, Lisa. Thank you so much.
Awesome question, Lisa. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think I don't know. I remember one Father's Day. We took my dad to an auto show for Father's Day, and the amount of knowledge that he had about all the cars that were there was incredible. And I remember asking him, do you ever feel like this is something you'd want to dip your toes in again? And it's like, well, I just don't feel like I can help as many people doing this anymore. And my dad's been the kind enough guy to like sponsor martial arts teams and cars in the past, even though he's not involved on the teams, just because he still has a passion for some of those things. And that hits the point that he was talking about kind of with the charity work, is that when you have more cash flow and more money, then that allows you to develop those things more, right? Like you can invest in those things more and help people be successful in those things. So absolutely great question, Lisa. So we're going to actually turn it over to a text question before we move on to Melvin and Dave. So this question is from Sarah, and she says, can you give us some pointers about approaching bigger accounts or influencers?
Say that again.
Yes, from Sarah, can you give us some pointers about approaching bigger accounts or influencers? So people that have a large following
Right.
How do you approach those people to get them interested?
I approach them exactly. Everyone I approach the same way. Everyone. I might change a couple of words up front that, excuse me, that makes it, what would be the word? Sincere. The biggest compliment that I get, you guys, is sincerity. So if I was going after an influencer or someone, I would find out a little bit about them. I haven't done this story in a long time, so I hope you guys enjoy it. But back in the days when, I guess people still do this, they do eyeball to eyeball, belly button to belly button sales meetings, right? So the story, it talks about, if you guys know of General Motors, there used to be a company that did all the rubber around the doors and windows. Can you imagine driving a car with no seals on it at all? So when the new cars came out, there wasn't a thing around the door. There wasn't a thing around the window. You know, so if you guys ever had big gaps in a door and you just feel wind flying through the door, that's the way a car is. And the noise was just crazy. So that was called Body by Fisher. They actually created the rubber to go around the doors, and they perfected it. So this guy that went to the CEO of General Motors, he studied him first, found out everything he could find out about him. And the guy was just a maniac for model trains. And so the story goes where the guy, you know, dressed up like a mail deliverer. And then what he did is he got a locomotive, boxed it up, or a box, one of the boxes for the train, and he wrapped it up and he went up and said, "Hi, I have a delivery for, you know, the CEO." And the secretary goes, oh, okay. And then he introduced himself to her, you know, and said, "Hey, Mary, you know, or Angela, you know, it's great to meet you." Then the next day he did another car. And this time he said, "Hey, oh, by the way, you know, do you like flowers?" And she said, "Yeah, I love flowers." And he goes, "Awesome. I got some flowers for you. There you go, Angela." "Oh, that was so sweet. Hey, no problem." You know, comes back the next day, got another car wrapped up. And he says, "Hey, do you like chocolates?" She goes, "Sure, I do." And he goes, here's a little box of chocolates. Are you guys getting the theme of this? And then it was like on Thursday, he brings in and he's got the train, the main locomotive part, right? And he gives it to her and then gives her, you know, tells her something, you know, "You look nice today," whatever, blah, 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 blah. Then on Friday, he shows up and he was dressed to the nines, suit, everything, no delivery deal. Had some more flowers, and he had an unwrapped caboose. And he walks up and says, "Hi, Angela." And she looks and she goes, "Robert?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "How are you doing?" He says, "I brought you some more flowers." And he goes, "Hey, I have the last gift for Melvin." And she says, "Who should I say is calling?" "Just tell him the caboose is here." Now, you got to take the time to know who a person is, know what their passions is, so you can address that. Watch some of their videos, get to know what they're talking about, get their attention before you connect with them. You see what I mean? Matt, you're on here, right?
Yeah,
How long you been married?
almost 8 years.
Almost 8 years. And so what was the thing that you did with Hannah to get her attention?
I donated to a charity that she was running for her birthday on Facebook. So she was doing a Hydrating Humanity charity, and I donated a decent amount of money because I got that from my dad. Donate some of your income always to charity. So I'm like, this is a great opportunity. Not only that, but I'm like, if I donate enough, then she's got to reach out and say thank you, because I just knew who she was, right? So when she reached out and said thank you to me, for donating for her birthday. Then that got us talking, and now we've been married for almost 8 years. So
Proud of you, Matt. I'm proud of you.
yeah, thanks.
So did that help you? You know what I mean? So people say, well, how do I talk to these influencers? Be different than everybody else. You don't have to spend money, but contribute a little bit on their podcast. Be a person that's outspoken enough to really write a paragraph. You know what I mean? Wow, I'm really blown away by your videos. I've learned a lot. Thank you for doing that. Do some things to get their attention. So then when you reach out to them, and believe it or not, my next biggest one is asking permission. So I'll reach out to them. Hey, oh, by the way, you know, I was wondering if I could send you some information on something that I think would really benefit not only you, but your audience. Would you mind if I did that? And they might come back and say, yeah, no problem at all. But don't forget that Bill, let me give you his email. Bill is the one that watches this stuff for me. I go, great. Is he also a friend? Yeah, he is. He follows me. He's my number one person. You know, everything goes through Bill. Now I would start the process all over. Because now I got to be different to Bill than everybody else. And I might reach out to him and say, hey, hi, Bill. I just talked to Melvin briefly on chat. And he has such a great blog and he's doing so well. And I just love his stuff. I didn't know that you were the person behind it all. Man, I really appreciate you for doing that. Oh, man, thank you very much. How can I help you? See what I mean? It's like, so so did that help you guys? And I will say one quick thing too. I keep saying that. Do not repeat. Do not just go after the big deals. You got to hit the little people all the time. You got to continue to build a loyal, satisfied customer base. You got to build a group of people that are making a little bit of money. Because if you go from big deal to big deal to big deal, God, I just love these announcements on my watch. Hey, you got another person. Hey, you got another person. But I hope that helps you guys. So, you know, you get people that are like we actually have a term in this industry. I've been in it for 35 years. It's called the big deal syndrome. Because you'll spend so much time on some of those deals. And then when it doesn't come through, then you're going, oh my God, you know? So
No, that's great answer, Dad. That's very
you.
true. Thanks, Sarah, for the question. I think that it's really interesting. You watch something like Netflix explode and grow, right? And they did that with small subscriptions over a long period of time. And you can do one of two things. You can either sell something really massive and work really hard at selling that one massive thing, or you can sell small things to a bunch of people. And I think as far as building something successful over a long period of time, it seems that subscription or that type of model seems to be working, right? Like it seems to be like I used to have to pay for every new version of Photoshop and that wasn't cheap. And then Adobe came out with a subscription model and now I just pay for that and I get all of their suite of stuff. And why would they do that? Why would a company that software is so necessary for so many industries do that? Well, it makes it more readily available and more customers mean more word of mouth, and more word of mouth means more subscribers. You know, how many people here have recommended Netflix to somebody? Because the barrier of entry is low. So like you can get more people that way. So great answer, Dad.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks for adding what you added.
Yeah. So next in line is Melvin. I see you got your hand raised. So I'm going to ask you to unmute and go ahead and ask your question.
Awesome. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Can hear you great.
Perfect. Awesome. If not, I'm going to have to return this mic to Amazon.
Great.
But
I was going to
anyway.
say great sound system. It's the opposite. I'm like, man,
So-
what mic do you have?
It's a Shure SMB. Michael Jackson used it to make Thriller, so I figured I'd just go and buy it. So they're
I
doing
know
pretty
them. I
good.
know them. They're top of the line. So
You not only sound good, but I love your background. You're a sharp looking guy, Melvin.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And just a little 15-second story. I met Candace Bird Davis on April 7th, and I saw her video on this company. And I own quite a few businesses offline, and I have vehicles that run that business. So I got this for the vehicles, but I saw her, you're gonna laugh at this. I saw her with her Bentley, and I'm familiar with those cars because I'm a connoisseur of cars myself. And I saw her put 87. I said, what is she doing? Don't do that. I was like, stop. So I was on there like, stop it. I'm like, I had to inbox her, like, do you know what you, and that's kind of how I met her. And when she showed me this, I was impressed by her. And then I said, okay, well, she's amazing. Who's her sponsor? And then I go up and I'm like, I see Robert, and I'm like, let me check this guy. So I just started, no, don't think I'm obsessed or anything. I watched one of your videos, then it turned to 2, to 3, to 4. And I'm sitting up here in my bed with my phone. My wife's like, what you know? I said, honey, I done found a new mentor. He don't even know who I am, but I'm learning. And I've gotten so much value, and I've implemented what you've taught into this business. And I mean, it's not about me, but I've been able to hit the 5K affiliate in 14 days and get on the leaderboards, at least top 15. I don't know how I'm going to ever catch the red pill, kill the world. I'm just going to put that out here because she's a killer. She's like Jordan. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to look at that, but maybe I'll be in her dust somewhere. But my main question I have for you is, since I watched everything, with all the knowledge that you have now and everything you've learned, if you had to do it all over today, what would be the one thing that you would change, if you would change anything?
Melvin, first of all, thank you so much for your story. I loved it. And with the stuff that I'm going to share with you, there's no doubt that Melissa Red Pill the World used to be number one.
She is a monster, man.
She started out with a larger following than you. That end of story. Just end of story. Here's what you'll do to beat her. You ready? When you look at a leaderboard in a couple of months and you have more people on the leaderboard than anybody. Okay? Because she's building a customer base and then she's got no leverage. So I'm not number one on the leaderboard. I'm just number one on income.
But you don't need to be. Smart.
So, yeah. So you learn to teach other people to be really successful affiliates instead of just getting customers. So it's, you want to balance, a little bit of a balance, but you'll see me, like, I don't know where Hollis organization is on the leaderboard. It's probably in the 50s or something, but I got a lot of people on that leaderboard. And the other thing that I get proud of is when the rank advancements come out. So the company would have like 78 rank advancements, and I would click the one button that said the company, and then I'd click my organization, and it would go from 78 to 70. So it means that the rest of the company got 8 rank advances and 70 happened in our group.
Wow. You know what? I just learned something from you that and it just made sense. I'm interpreting it as real time, so forgive me but from what you're saying is, you don't really want to be the one that brings in the people. You want to have the leaders on your team so you build leverage, because what she's doing is she's going to burn out eventually.
Yeah.
And that's not a sustainable, it may be for her, but from somebody like myself who's recruiting, I'm not going to sustain that 12 months a year.
No. So this whole business model is a lot of people doing a little bit. And you've seen one of my videos. Now, the question you asked. So now I got you, it's like going to a mastermind and getting one of these plaques. that
Wow.
says in 6 months you did 9.9 million in volume. That's the plaque that you want. And this one here, where it's I got one finger. This one here, that you get the multiple 7-figure earnings. Those are the plaques that make the difference. So so the thing that you asked, and I'm still doing this today. Still today, this is the thing that I don't do. I don't dream big enough. I put so many limits on myself. The goal right now is I will hit 12 million a year in earnings with MDC, no doubt. But I should have thought that when my mentors were making 12 million a year. See, I looked and I went, oh my God, he makes 62,000 a month. If I could do that in a year, that would be amazing. and yeah, I didn't realize it at the time, but the limitations I was putting on myself, I was putting on other people. See, so I would have probably spent more time looking for Melvins in my beginning years, but my mind would be, oh my God, I'm a mechanic. I've known Melvin. He's got numerous companies. He's so focused. He's got nice cars. He's got a nice crib. This guy would never, ever be interested in having a bunch of cash flow and freedom. Never. No, that's not what I said. I was looking at the limitations of this business through myself and not thinking, oh my God, if I told Melvin that there's a girl that's been with this company for 8 years and she makes $1 million a month with this proven training system, her name's Jenna. I wonder if he would know some people that would be interested in making a cash flow of $1 million a month passively. And so now you're like at a business owner going, yes, see what I mean? So, and I still do that today. I've been in MDC for 4 years. And we just probably went over 3.8 million in earnings, and having back-to-back $1.1 million a year, I thought way too small, way too small. So I'm even doing that now, and Matt's helping me. So we're creating other entities that we can think about that's going to challenge us a little bit, And so the worst thing you can be is successful and complacent.
Right.
And I think that all human beings do that. So I'll get in. Super affiliate was the rank, knocked that out in record time. Everything was going great, and I went, okay, super affiliate. So I knocked that out, and income's 100,000 a month, and I was going like, this is awesome. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, Josh said, oh, we have a new one called Master. And not that it's the money, but I'm going, $100,000 a month expense allowance, 1.2 million a year in expense allowance. I need that. Not for me, but what I want to do. I'll talk to you one more thing, Melvin. I seen Matt will probably know what this is, but I seen an interview with Kevin Hart, and he was on Shark Tank. And so if you want to see it, it was the interview they did for him about who he is before he appeared on Shark Tank. And so he's showing all his entities, Melvin. And so these African-American people put together cartoon heroes.
Wow.
Okay. And they're just saying, we're not reflected in the superhero cartoons. And we got these characters. And they said, it's going to take us a while to get there because we need, we need a media group, and we need a publishing group with our books, because we're going to do comic books too. And we need a distribution, and we need this, and we need this. And Kevin Hart said, I got it all. I'm not only going to be your partner, but I'm a one-stop shop. And I said that to my son because there's a lot of things he's writing scripts, and I know he'll do movies in the future. And it's like, man, you want these entities. So when you find someone that's creative like that, and I mean, if I had the money, I would have invested in them. I just love their hearts and where they're coming from. So they're great animators. You know what I mean? and really good storyboard writers. But they're young African Americans that no one wants to bid on. And so when I sent that interview to my son, and he was like, Kevin Hart said, every time that he wanted to do something creative, then he needed someone else to do a part of it to get it to the masses. And that's when he said, nah, BS. I'm gonna create each branch of what I need.
You said something that reminded me of my father, because, you know, not my background is important, but I own 16 restaurants already. So, you know, money is not why I was motivated. I was motivated by opportunity. But my father said this to me a long time ago. He said, son, if you can count your money, you ain't making enough. So
Yeah.
I was like,
I
so
love
he was
that.
like, I don't care how many 7 figures you're making. He said, if you know you're not making enough. So it always taught me to be open to opportunity. And when I saw this and I saw your group and I saw what you do, I am a student all over again. So I'm just I'm impressed. Thank you for taking the time to do this. You guys have impacted me so much, and you're going to help me impact other people. So thank you so much.
Anything you need, anything, Melvin, reach out to me, man. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Congratulations,
much,
too,
Melvin.
on hitting 5K, man, in that short period of time. That is awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations. It's amazing. All right. So we're gonna do another text question from Rochelle. She says, how many days do customers / affiliates have before they get purged when they don't place an order?
I believe with the new system, it's never. I do not believe that there's going to be any purging anymore. And so let me explain why. If a person can become a customer for free and an affiliate for free, and now instead of placing orders, they can actually get people that place orders to count for their qualifications. You know, so listen to this. A person could get in this company for free, get 2 customers that did 90 in volume each. That's 180 in personal enrolled customer volume. And they're an executive. They're a flipping executive. So now people go, well, how do you go from executive to 1,000 in volume? The company says the only thing that they have in their plan is they say that you have to, listen closely, if you sponsored me, you don't get to count 1 million of my volume. You only get to count 500,000 to go to super. They force you to build at least one other leg. But when you're going out there and acquiring customers and affiliates, there's no limit to the amount of legs that you can have. Me currently, I have 135 producing legs. See, so that really allows. So a brand new person could get in this company for free, never, ever put any money in the company, and never, ever put any money in on a monthly basis, and go all the way to super. That's insane. So that's the answer. The answer now, because of Web 2.0 or MDC 2.0, I do not believe that people will purge anymore. And I might be wrong. Maybe if they don't do anything for 6 months, they purge. But it's not going to be based on an order. And I know a lot of people don't know that, because this is the last day of the month. And you wouldn't believe how many people I see that buy a face mask for 3 business points because they were told with the old plan, if they at least didn't buy something, that the company would purge them out. And yeah, that's that. I do not believe that. But you know, that might be a good question for you know, the customer support. But that's what I'm saying. Okay.
No, I think in this situation, as everything's transitioning and has already transitioned into the new stuff, when you have technical questions like that, definitely reach out to their customer support. It's excellent, and you can get a quick answer normally to a question like that. But thank you for asking anyway, Rochelle. Appreciate you. Okay, we're gonna move next to Dave. So Dave, you got your hand raised. I'm gonna ask you to unmute. Can you hear us, Dave?
Yes, I can. And boy, it took me forever to find that little hand.
I know, I've had that
I
problem.
kept looking for it. I said, it's not there. And then I saw the reactions down there. So
I'll have to make a video showing how to find it because that you're not the only person.
No, believe
so-
it. Ever since I've been on a Zoom, they say, raise your hand. This is what I do.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah, you just hold it up long enough. They go, I better call on that guy.
Well, I tell you what, I am just feel blessed beyond comprehension, Robert, and everybody else to be on here with everyone who's on here. Because I take this seriously. I take you seriously. And like I told you the other day, you've been a thorn in my flesh for a long time. I keep saying, wow, here's Robert. You know, I just need to go find Robert and just listen to Robert. And by the way, I want you to know, sometimes I feel like you strap me into a chair and beat me with a rubber hose on some of these videos.
I've been told that. I can't tell you how
Yeah.
many people were like, hey, thanks for the ass whooping. And I'm like, hey, I'm just being real, man. It's like, come on.
But every time I think, oh, I really needed that. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Well, I've got a couple things, but this has kind of blown my mind. Because I've had other friends in the industry who've made, you know, like over 100 grand a month. And so I'm thinking, now that's a money issue at the other end of the spectrum. Now you've already answered part of it about
Okay.
donating, but I'm
Yeah.
thinking 280 grand a month. What, you can't just put that in banks.
Nope. No. What you got to do is you diversify. The other thing that you do is real estate seems to, you know, that whole phrase, they're not making any more.
Right.
I happen to live in a place, I'm not bragging, but for every 100 feet you get closer to the ocean, there's another raise in a price. Me and Terry used to live in a house in 2012, and it was 3.2 million, and it just went up for 8.7. It's just like nuts to me. And people
Wow.
go, well, why would you buy a home in that area? Well, because everyone plans for years to vacation here. If a person dreams of coming here, it's like it's vacation. It's like paradise every day. But the other part is that part. Here's where, if you see a lot of large companies that get away with not paying any taxes, Dave, what they do is they spend a lot in research and development. They really, really do. So if you already found a way for people not to go to the library or go to a bookstore to buy a book, you know, okay, Amazon's thought, it's like, what else can we get into? If you guys seen Mark Cuban, he recently, I don't know much about it, but just launched a whole company to give people the lowest cost you can get on pharmaceuticals. You know what I mean? So it really gets you to a place where you can go, yeah, what's the next thing? You know, I don't like what Twitter's doing with people. I'll just buy Twitter.
Yeah, right.
You
Right.
know, so, you know, I even heard Mark Cuban, I didn't hear what he said, but someone told me that Mark Cuban had something negative to say about Elon Musk buying Twitter. And I said, regardless of who you are, you still have this competitive edge in you. And I can't imagine being a billionaire worth $4 billion and everybody in the world thinks I'm awesome. And there's some dude on the chart that's buying things for 44 billion.
Right.
It might be
Right.
going, what? It's like, what are you talking about? So that might hit people in a unique way. But yeah, a lot of people don't know this because there's so many people out in the world that want to beat up everybody. But you know, the number one person in the world, if you guys read up on the Gates Foundation, you know, Bill Gates, I believe, will go down in history as being one individual that eradicated disease on this planet. And some people might totally disagree with me because they're listening to somebody else that doesn't know. But I would like to go down in history of going, hey, did you guys know that 3.4 million kids died a year from malaria? And last year, it was 215 kids. So I haven't gotten totally there yet, but to find something like that. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, Dave, there's no limit to what you can do if you get into that charity side. So, people don't know this about Bill Gates, but there's no one on the planet that's given more money to charity than Bill and the Gates Foundation. So,
Right.
so when you give so much money that you got Warren Buffett, that used to be the second wealthiest, and he says, I'm going to give you 99% of my income when I pass, you're doing good.
Yeah,
You're doing
right.
good. So yeah,
Absolutely.
you'll notice where people, for whatever reason, and I was there, so I know where they're coming from, Dave, is there was a point in my life where I sort of looked backwards a little bit and I went, man, I've been busting my butt for, 12 years. And I'm just going to be a little selfish for a while. For my 50th birthday, my goal was to go to a Rolls Royce dealership and buy a Rolls Royce off the showroom floor. And I did that when I turned 50. And I loved the car and it was awesome. And it sat in the garage. And so on a 4-year lease, I think I put like 4,000 miles on it. And it's like, so there's some people that, it was like, I don't use the car, so to renew the lease or buy it, I just gave it back, and so, there was a time when it was all about me, and then it became not about me. And that's when it really became fulfilling. So Dave, I just hope these people that, somehow, like, I'll give you one other one that I just love. I love the inspirational stories of a Matt Damon getting called out for no reason. And all of a sudden he goes and sees a bunch of children in a foreign country. And he finds out that the mom and the children spend, 6 hours a day going from their village to a place to try to get bad water, not clean water. And so they don't go to school. They don't go to school because who else is going to get water for the family? And you see something like that and you go, so what does it cost to, fly in, drop a drilling rig here, drill a hole and get these people some clean water? About 3 million. All right. And then the next time you see him, he's on Entourage as a guest and he's beating these stars up about you writing me a frickin' check. You said you'd write me a check. I need a check because I got some kids that need some clean water. So it's sad, Dave, that some people don't go to the next level. That to go out there and help people that need help, because there's a lot of them.
Right. Well, and here's the other thing. If I could just ask you this, and make a confession, okay? Because I do know God resists the proud, He gives grace to the humble. So I'm trying to humble myself here and say I'm a little bit confused on getting people to sign up as an affiliate or sending them to the video. The opportunity video, the 23-minute and 4-second video.
I do it all in one thing. So
Okay.
Dave, I would be calling you up. Hey, Dave, I thought of you today. I was on a video or a Zoom and Ask Me Anything. And I just thought of you. And so I thought I'd reach out, see how you're doing. Hope you're safe. Your family's doing awesome. And then I would start that conversation going back and forth. And then I would say, hey, Dave, the reason I thought of you is I was wondering if you could do me a huge favor. I'm helping a company grow and expand. And you can sign up free just like you do on Amazon or YouTube or Facebook or Zoom. And if you would give me permission to send you an affiliate link, put your name and email in there, and then there's a short video that you can watch. And at any time, you can click Get Started and create a free affiliate account. If you have questions, I'll show you where to be able to watch the videos on everything the company has. And I know for a fact, Dave, that once you watch those short videos, you're going to know of someone we can help. So I got you to hit the capture page, put your name and email in.
Okay, that's what you're doing. Send them to the capture page.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
If you want to know what capture page, go to my Facebook wall and you're going to see it right there. There's still people, and I say this all the time, I always can tell what people are listening, but you can go to someone's Facebook page and there's two things that happen. One, you can't figure out who they are, what the hell they stand for. That's always blowing me away. I'm building a brand. So how many times can you use I in a sentence? I. If you notice what I said, Dave, I watched a video and I'm helping a company expand. I'm not the owner. It's like, come on. One guy asked me the other day, and this would be a good one for Melvin, is like, he said to me, he goes, so do you own a company? And I said, no. I said, have you heard of Dale Earnhardt? Yeah. I said, how about Richard Petty? He goes, I have. I said, have you heard of Michael Jordan? Yeah. I said, how about Tom Brady? Yeah. None of them are team owners. None of them own a team. I don't need to be an entrepreneur. I just need to be a freaking good player.
Right, there you go.
And I just want 7 awards. You know what I mean? Let somebody else with the headache. Thank God for Josh, and he takes care of all that stuff for me and sends me my direct deposits. I think it's awesome. So, so I use the capture page.
All righty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why do I use the capture page, Dave? Because I'm here to help people supplement their income. I'm not a product salesperson.
Right.
But some people focus on a product, and I'm not going to tell them not to, because I have 12,000 of them.
Right. Okay.
So, I focus on, hey, I'm looking for people to help me expand the business. And so I just had a friend that asked me that. I was going back. I don't know if Marie's still on here, but had another friend too named Bob Klein. You guys will meet him soon. He's a dear old friend. And one of the things that he asked me is, he said, so what's your favorite product? And I sent him a screenshot. If I can find it fast enough, I'll share it with you guys. But I said, talk about multiple streams of income now with the new Web 2.0. You know what I mean? It's like I get to see what my top products are, and I also get to see what my top brands are. You know what I mean? And so let me find this really quick. You guys will like this. Because how many of you guys have heard streams of income? You got to have streams of income. I have 12,000 affiliates. Each one of them is streaming income. It's like streams. Okay, come on. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not finding it here. So
Hey, no worries.
yeah, but people have seen me post it. So the people going, hey, do you believe in multiple streams of income? And I took all the boxes at the bottom, and only one doesn't show up. So I broke it into 4, and then I took the other 4 and I put them underneath, and I just sent them a screenshot, and they go, 449,000 of HempWorks, and then you sell 169,000 of Akashic and 79,000 of High Life Travel. 58,000 worth of daily sprays. It's like my whole Mongolia group. They'll probably hit 100,000, and the only thing they get is sprays. They don't get any other product. So why would I just focus on one product if they don't have it there? Yeah, that's a thought. Yeah, that's a thought.
Right.
Melvin, you said you had some restaurants?
think I
Yes, I
met-
actually do.
Oh, there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Restaurants, and I
have,
own quite a few
yeah, you have
businesses.
you have 16 restaurants.
Yes,
Are
sir.
they all named the same with exactly the same food and menu?
Pretty much. There's
So
a
you're
small franchise.
franchising, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I said in one of your restaurants, is there more than one thing on the menu?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because people like variety, and I want to be able to capitalize off of everything.
So if I was a vegan, do you have a dish for me?
I actually don't. So we're not vegan.
Oh,
So
but
we
if you
just got
like
some good fish and
chicken,
barbecue.
if you
Oh,
like
fried
chicken,
chicken.
you got, yeah.
Fried chicken, ribs, macaroni and cheese,
Steak.
greens, soul food. I'm making you hungry.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I gotta go. I gotta go.
Yeah, you
Did that
come in,
help you,
Richard, let me
Dave?
know.
Yeah. Did it help you,
Smoothie's not
Dave?
really holding up
Oh.
anymore.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, I'm thinking about launching my business, doing a Facebook launch.
Yeah.
And just giving a little bit of my story, like I've been looking for this for 51 years, but really for the last 11, really hard.
Yeah.
Thought I found it a number of times and it just ended up being a mirage, but I finally found the reality and I'd like to share it with you.
Yeah, and believe it or not, Dave, I've been doing this for 35 years. And the old times, it was important for us to tell our story and the reason why we're doing something.
Right.
My advice to you is leave that out of your conversation.
Okay. All right.
Yep. People nowadays, if you haven't noticed, hang on a second, my phone went off. I'm joking.
Yes.
They're-
Right.
They're pretty distracted. They got an 8-second attention span. So
Right.
you want to just name it something like this. This is what I did. Huge announcement. And I came on the video and I say this to people. I say, the first thing I want to share with you is, hi, my name is Robert Hollis, is I want to try to tune into your radio station. And the radio station that most people are listening to nowadays is WII-FM. That means what's in it for me. So now that I've said that, let me tell you who we are and what we do. Can you imagine getting paid to use a product? Can you imagine getting a free affiliate account where you could make money by next Thursday? Can you imagine having a back office with capture pages, customer relation, autoresponders, an app, and it's all free for you to market? Can you imagine that? I have been in companies where I had to pay for all that stuff. And I finally found a company that's there to help me, but more importantly, to help you. So click on my affiliate link below or send me a direct message. I can't tell the story of the company and the products that they market better than the owners of the company. And I would like to get that video in front of you. And for some of you that want to know about certain products, they did videos on those as well.
Okay. Now, and then you're sending them to a capture page.
Capture page. I only send people to capture pages.
I
Okay.
posted the capture page link in chat, the one my dad uses. So if you,
Okay. I know the one your dad uses, but I see, I was doing the same thing, but I noticed his said CP 27, I believe.
25.
25. Okay. So I just was going straight to the tour itself and not using the capture page. That's where I was making a mistake. But see, if you look at my info, I've just about plagiarized you, Robert. So I'm just saying,
That's fine.
I just said pilgrim passing through, father, friend, and refer. So
Thank you, Dave.
I'll
Yeah,
get that changed.
yeah, and what's amazing about using a capture page is Matt and I, my son, I'm not here to brag to you guys, but when I was building a brand, I spent millions of dollars hiring the best people that are out there. Frank Kern, Brendan Burchard, Tony Robbins. I hired everyone. I had the money. Why not learn from the best? And they told me, listen, your capture page needs to have two things. One, a place to put their name and email and phone number. And second is an Xbox to get out. Don't give them anything else to click on. It's like, I don't want to put my information in, or I want to put my information in, you see? And so I'm so simple, Dave, that when I got involved in MDC, I said, I got a question for you. And you guys if you guys learn more about me, you'll make this so simple. I reached out to Josh and I said, wow, you got a lot of capture pages. And he goes, thank you. And I go, which one has the highest conversion rate? You know what Josh said to me? No one's ever asked him that question. I don't even care what the page says or does or looks like, and other people will go to the page and go, That's a female wearing a poncho. I don't relate to that. Be as stupid as you want to be. I want the capture page that gets the biggest results. I grab that and put it on there. So how many people think that's pretty funny? I just like, hey,
Yeah.
and then don't get mad at me, but there's some people out there that said, hey, you know what? I'm going to get a domain and I'm going to use my domain, John Tears, the greatest man on the planet.com. And then I'm going to use that domain and forward it to the capture page. And so now when you're trying to replicate and duplicate, the person goes, so I see you have John's the greatest man on the planet. Where did you get a domain? How do I buy one? I noticed my name was taken. Oh my God, I got to be creative and come up with a name for a domain. And then I got to find a place to purchase it. And then I got to find a way to forward it, not mask it, because if you mask it, it doesn't work. And so people are going, oh, I know what you're talking about. I'm not interested in teaching that.
That was one of my rubber hose moments. I'm telling you. As a matter of fact, okay, I'm reading your book. I'm not quite through yet, but I got ratracetofreedom.com. Now, listen, I went and got a refund on it. Yep. I went and got a refund on it because I thought, oh, Robert said, don't do it.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much.
No, I mean, if it says it just the way that it is, like if you go to my dad's page and he's got the link on there, the amount of domains we have, I don't even know. And we
But,
don't forward any of them
hey,
to that link.
Get
So
this.
yeah.
When Matt first started figuring out what I was doing, Dave, because the rubber hose comes from getting the rubber hose.
Right.
Okay. All
Right.
right. So I was one of those people, and you can ask Matt. I bought so many domains from a company that I became my own register.
Wow.
No, it's true. Yeah, we had
I
like
became my
well over
own
100.
register. And I built so many capture pages and website that I had my own website creator.
Wow.
So Dave, whatever you did, I did worse and got a bigger rubber hose. You know what I mean? And so me and Matt are selling websites like crazy, and people are paying us $500 for the website, $50 a month. Matt's like, what, 12, and he's creating logos and websites for people, and we're just going bananas. And then this guy reaches out to us and says, hey, I'd like a refund on our money. And I said, why? And he said, because I got a website for free on myspace.com. That was before Facebook.
Yeah.
And me and Matt looked at each other and went, man, do you think this is going to catch on? Oh my God.
Yeah, when you sell people on needing a page for all of their information to share on the internet, and then social media gets invented and exists, kind of defeats that idea and that purpose.
Yeah.
But
And then
Wow.
it wasn't long, and me and Matt were listening on, any major show on the planet. It's like, hey, Shark Tank. Oh, by the way, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. It's like, oh my God, when major corporations are no longer talking about their website, they're saying, follow me on Twitter and like me on Facebook, you're in trouble. So yeah, so Matt and I had a large customer base and lost it all. And now I get to start over.
Wow.
yeah, you guys would be surprised the amount of capture pages that I've put work into and made graphics for and all kinds of stuff. And then the ones that are just the bare minimum convert better.
Yeah.
You'd think something that's more flashy or something that has a lot of information on it would give them more of a reason or incentivize them more. But to be honest, people just have that short attention span, like my dad said, and they really want to either make a decision or not, because it's like at that stage, they're just moving on to the next thing if you don't capture their attention in that small frame of time. There's so many things fighting for our attention nowadays. So
And
absolutely.
Angela said something here I just caught with my eye, so I believe that I was supposed to see it. Yeah, so I talked about the one person that you go to their website or Facebook page and you don't have a clue what they're doing. You would think that they're a model by how many, you know. It's like, wow. Wow, could you have any more pictures of you? You know, on your page? I'm lucky if I have my profile picture. And then you got the other people where there's no way you could figure out one of the 98 things that are in. So thank you for Angela for sending that. It's like, okay, so, and don't get mad at me. You're on my Ask Me Anything. You can leave anytime you want to. But it's like, okay, so I go to a person's Facebook page and I can't tell what they're doing. And then I click on their link tree or whatever it is. And it's like, you know, people need to figure out one thing to do. And then they click on their link tree, and these people have links to every product. Check out my oil, check out my shampoo, check out my sprays, check out my body lotion, check out my hemp clothing, check out, and I'm going like, it's like when a page has too much information on it, that's what the X mark is. Because that's what I just check out of it. I don't have time. What's that lady that was funny on that one day? I got time for this. So, Angela, thank you very much for putting that on there. Yeah, you go to my page and hey, it's you know, I could fill them all up. I just choose not to.
Well, thank you also, Dave, for the question as
Dave,
well.
thank you, Melvin. Appreciate
Thank you, guys. Next up is Kai. Kai, I'm going to ask you to unmute and see if you can hear us.
Can you hear me all right?
Can
Hey,
hear
Kai,
you.
how are you?
Hey, Robert, thank you very much for opening the AMA session today. I was praying that this was going to happen, but you touched base on people who have the, what's the syndrome called? That you
Oh,
feel-
big deal syndrome.
The big deal syndrome, yes. Now, my question about that, you actually answered that partials of my question already, but people who have the big deal syndrome, how do you deal with their conversations when it's very clearly obvious that what they're doing is an act of desperation, but at the same time, you're trying to find that silver lining and
Yeah,
help them find a
exactly.
solution of what they're looking for, but they're not listening,
No,
and that's understandable.
There's a phrase that everyone has heard out there, and the phrase is when the student's ready, the teacher appears. And I can say that I've fallen into that trap, Kai, and still do. There's a lot of people that you and I know together that are doing the exact opposite of what I say.
Absolutely.
And I will not in any way, shape, or form reach out to correct them. I love up on them. They can call and tell me, you know what I'm going to do, Robert? I'm going to go to every truck stop on the planet and get every truck because they buy all the stuff. And I say to them, I'm going, awesome. Awesome. Because it's not, the person doesn't listen until they say this. Robert, yeah. I was thinking about doing this. What do you think? Because you don't want to be a dream stealer, Kai. You don't. And so a lot of people get in this industry or anything in life. All of us are working on personal development. So let me, like Dave said, here comes another rubber hose. I don't know why we do this as human beings, but it's people doing people things. So if I listen to someone and I hear something new that inspires me to the point of wanting to make me cry, I'm like going, oh, I've been looking for this answer forever. My very first mode of operation is to share it with everyone I know. And they're not ready.
cracks me up the
It's
most
like-
when they are actually like
Yeah.
acting like they're ready, but then they puke on you about some of the most entertaining crap
Yeah.
that serves absolutely no purpose. And what I try to do is I try to like be compassionate about it, but at the same time, I almost want to say, I don't have time for your bloody bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. And what you got to do is people that do take up too much of my time that are not learning is this is, if I've ever done this to you, Kai, or anybody that's listening to this live or recorded, I'm telling the truth. I have my numbers that I need to connect with a day. And when I start feeling like the conversation is going to a place where, you know, for a while, when people get in, every person they talk to, they want to tell you the story about the person that didn't get involved. It's just human nature. Hey, Kai, you got a minute? Yeah. I met this guy and he owns a bunch of restaurants, and his brother's ex-wife has a friend, and she is actually one time married to the king of Nigeria. And when he said, when he was thinking about getting in this, that he would force by law everyone to use FFX in the whole country of Nigeria. And it's like, oh, really? Did he create a free account? No, I haven't talked to him yet, but it's like, so people get excited and want to tell you their story because this feels to them like activity when they need to be focused on productivity. See what I mean? So what you got to do when you notice people are doing that is, it's going to sound weird, but you're actually training them how to treat you. So you just say, oh, really? What's his name? Let me look him up in my back office. No, he's not in yet. Oh, well, I'm focused on getting people to create a free account, and I'd like to talk to you, but I got to get my numbers done. So my mentor did that to me a couple of times, you guys, and the first couple of times he did it, it pissed me off. Because we're talking about old times, and I'd ring the phone and he'd pick it up and he'd say, hi, Robert, how you doing? Great. He said, hang on a second. And I'd hear the phone touch his desk. He'd actually, you know, and make that noise, you know, and he set it down. And I could hear all these paper noises, you know, so I'm hearing these paper noises. Today we would hear keyboard, right? And for me, it was way too long, Kai. I mean, I called this guy, I've been waiting to talk to him. I can't wait to talk to him. And he comes back and he goes, oh, Robert, yeah, I just found you on my printout.
Oops.
And he's going, is there a reason why you're not 5K yet? And I go, I'm working on it. He goes, are you working on it or are you talking about it? Anyway, did you have something you wanted to talk to me about? And I said, no. I go,
Ouch.
but it's like, so I knew, and it took me a couple of months, you guys, listen closely. It took me a couple of months and I called him. He goes, hey, Robert, hang on. Heard the thump, phone down. Hear him going through the paperwork. Oh, I see you on my printout. Yeah. Congratulations. You hit 25K? Yeah. What can I do for you? It's like all of a sudden my relationship with him was totally different. And I was in martial arts, but it was like everyone's always looking for praise and recognition. Man, you practice and knock it out of the park and get the next stripe or the next color belt. And now you're like, man, I'm sort of sick and tired of my sensei bringing my name up all the time. Like, why aren't you guys like Robert? Why aren't you guys like Robert? Why aren't you guys like Robert? And I'm going like, wow, I was begging for this 3 months ago. And now all of a sudden you got more praise and recognition because you focus, you put your head down, and you really changed other people's lives, not your life. So great question, Kai. You and I know a lot of the same people, and it's like I don't call them up and ever tell them that they're doing something stupid.
Absolutely.
I
It's kind of
don't.
under- yeah.
I love up on them. What can I do to help? Blah, 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 blah. And it's funny. I don't think this person will ever get to see this, but Kai and I know someone really, really close that every time I did a video teaching people how to teach people to create free accounts, he would do a video telling everybody not to. And now the owner of the company and the owner's wife is going, get them to create a free account. That's how you do this. And I'm going like, wow, you know, this guy's for 4 years has been telling people not to create a free account. Does he got to go through his whole YouTube channel and delete all the videos? So there we go. Thanks,
We're not
Kai.
gonna go
Appreciate
there.
you, man. Love
No
you.
problem.
Love you, brother.
Thank you so much, Kai. Appreciate you. All right, John, I actually have a written question and you have your hand raised, so I'll just unmute you if that's okay. You there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Can hear you great.
All right. Yeah, I couldn't find that darn hand. That's why
I'm gonna do something about that for the next
I
one
see
for
that
sure.
under the reaction. So, oh, thank you so much.
John,
Hey, Robert, how you doing, man?
blessed and highly favored and deeply loved. Thank you.
All right. Now it's interesting. I've heard so much stuff going on, and Robert, one of the main reasons that I really started following you was because you know how to duplicate. I have watched this industry for a very long time, and a lot of people tell you to do a lot of stuff that other people can't do.
Yes.
And I realized that that is the number one reason that I followed you, is because I was like, this is the only guy I know that's gone to different companies and has gone to the top of the companies, and he's done the same thing for the last 35 years. That's not a fluke.
No.
That means he's got something. So I've had to really fight in my brain to get away and leave all that other stuff that I've learned over the last few years, because I've always wanted, we gravitate to the familiar when we don't get what we want with the way we think we should have it. But
Right.
I've really forced myself to ask my question. Whenever I want to do something different, I ask the question, does Robert do it? Does Robert do it? Because that's what I base it on. If Robert's not doing it,
WWRD, right?
right. And if he doesn't do it, I'm not gonna do it.
Right.
And it's been a lot to train my brain to kind of think that way. And so one of the question I actually had was, now, after we do the $1 million question and the person says they don't want to get involved, whatever, do you ask them about buying product at that particular point after if they say they don't want to get involved?
I always try to get a referral out of them. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But when you're asking people to do you a huge favor, they may know of someone that needs to make extra money. Man, if you say that the right way, I don't have people that say, every once in a while, I'll have people that say, listen, I don't know anybody. And I'm going, is that by design? Sometimes I'll say that. And they'll go, now that you bring it up, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I go, awesome. I said, if you don't know of anyone, is it okay if I send you a link just to look at maybe some of the products that might benefit you? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. But my number one goal is always to look through them as a doorway to someone that will do this business. I'm always focused on the opportunity and business first. I always am. And because a lot of people think that they need to get everyone in this business. I know for a fact that this business is not for everyone. I know that everyone can do it if they made the decision. But there are some people that mentally just won't be good. They won't be able to attract people. I know I'm just throwing a blanket out there, but if a person entertains their day every day by being a troll on the internet, this might be someone that I don't want in the business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I feel sorry for them, and I hope that things change in their life where they feel like, just so you guys get a kick, me and Matt were on a Zoom one time, I'll tell you how long I've been doing this. This was before Zoom. So there was actually a product called Periscope. You know what I mean? And so I'm flying, man. And it's just the chat's going like crazy. At one time, I had over 1 million likes on some of the videos on Periscope. It was just going crazy when Periscope came out. And this guy just would not stop. And he just says, you got to know Ben, B-E-N. You got to know Ben. You got to know Ben. And I'm finally, it just got me because he kept doing it. And I said, Ben who? And he put Dover. And I'm going, Ben Dover. I don't know Ben Dover. And I see Matt laughing. I see other people laughing. I'm going like, sorry, Greg, I don't know Ben Dover. I don't know him. You know what I mean? And so and it's funny because trolls can't get me because I don't even go for their stuff. You know what I mean? It's like they'll say stuff and I'm just going, and I remember stopping, and when I caught on to it, I laughed. You know what I mean? That was a good one. That's funny. Anyway, where were we? And then I went right back to the video. So, there's got to be some people out there that I know that I don't want in this business, John. But to answer your question as quick as I can, yeah, I will try. I did a video one time where in front of a live crowd, they were throwing objections at me. And usually it's just the opposite of what most people do. So this person raised their hand and they said, I'm just not a people person. What would you say to someone that says they're not a people person? And there was hundreds and hundreds of people there. And I just said, can I ask you a question? She said, sure. I go, do you want to be a people person? And she goes, yeah, I do. And I said, I can help you. I used to be an invert. I had 3 friends that were all auto mechanics. We didn't talk to each other. We were just in the same garage building the same race car. Sometimes we work hard enough to have a beer afterwards, but we really didn't talk about anything but what we just built in the race car. How did that go? How did the rear end go? How did the tranny go? You know what I mean? So so John, that was a long answer, but yeah, I do sometimes. And again, you got to just trust your instincts, brother. I'm so proud of you. You're not even the same John Tier that I met. I'm just, you get better and better all the time. I know you're going to figure this out, and be a superstar, no doubt in my mind. And then you're going to have to answer questions to other people that are going to ask you how you did it. You know what I mean? And yeah, you trust your instincts, because some people, I can't wait to say, you're absolutely correct. I wish you a happy life, and block and delete and move on. You know what I mean? And then there's some people that I will just throw out, just a couple of things to see, how it's doing it. And believe it or not, sometimes they're smart alecky. It's just a little thing to say that challenges them. You know what I mean? Like an example, a guy said, yeah, you have no clue how financially independent I am. And I said, when I was a mechanic, that was impressive. I knew a lot of people that were financially done, but that doesn't impress me. So why did you feel you had to say that to me? He goes, because I felt like you were going to pitch me on a business opportunity. And I said, well, that's what you get for assuming. I was basically going to share with you how you could have freedom. Because to me, you sound like you're too busy. And I said, I love looking out my window on a Wednesday afternoon and seeing sailboats on the ocean. And I said, so being financially independent was something I wanted to do. And then once I achieved that, now I figured out how to help other people get there and get freedom. But like you said, you're already done. And he goes, well, I came here anyway. I'll hear what you guys are saying. But
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why people have to do that. The other one you guys have always heard is, to be honest with you, I'm just too busy. And I go, well, can I ask you a question? Sure. Why do you feel like you need to impress me with how busy you are? They don't know where to go. And so they sort of get mad. It's like I reached out and slapped him. And then I look, if you guys ever seen those videos where someone puts a bucket on somebody's head in a grocery store, and then when they take the bucket off, they put one on their head too. So then they take their bucket off and they're looking around. The person's going, well, they had a bucket on their head. They could have done it. Who the hell did that? You know what I mean? It's sort of funny. And I said to the person, I said, listen, when I was a mechanic, after a week of work, we would all go have beers on a Friday night. And it was an ego thing. And it's like, I flagged 80 hours. I flagged 95. I flagged 150 hours. I said, I used to hang around with a bunch of guys that all bragged about how many hours we put in. Man, I'm glad I don't do that anymore. It's like, now it's like, you ask me where we're going or what we want to do. Robert, what are you doing on Friday? I don't know. What are we doing, John? I got the time to go and I have the money to go. It's like, that's more impressive to me. So thank you, John. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, John. Appreciate you. So I have about 4 or 5 written questions left. I know we've already been going for an hour and a half, and it is Saturday, so I don't know.
Let's knock them out, man.
All right, awesome. So the next question is from Nicholas. He says, when people close to us have a negative mindset and they want to dump their negativity on you, how do you deal with it and stay in a positive mindset?
You just basically have to teach people how to treat you. So you have to, Nicholas, you have to say, listen, I really like you as a friend, Nicholas. I love spending time with you. And they go, oh, thank you very much. But I need to be more optimistic in my life. I need to be more positive in my life. And I find myself around you of not feeling that way. So I want to be your friend and I want to spend time with you, but I no longer can allow you to use my mind as a dump truck. So when I see you on caller ID or I see you coming over, all I hear is beep, 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 beep. And I just know this giant garbage truck full of slime is backing up and the tailgate's opening up and you're just trying to pour all this garbage into my head. So I just need you to know moving forward, when I hear the beeping noise, I'm just going to be really nice and tell you I got to go. And guess what? You might lose them as a friend. Melody Briba, she's got a great story on her YouTube because I taught her that. You don't realize it, but you haven't made the decision yet in life that your life is going to change. So the universe is reminding you every day that people can back their garbage truck up to you. How many people know that MDC just went to this new 2.0 and they changed everything? I mean, they changed everything. No one calls me. They'll chat behind my back. They'll go to corporate. They'll write in a chat that I don't read. But no one calls me and goes, Robert, I think this sucks, because they know the rubber hose is coming. So you guys might not realize this about me, but I'm basically teaching you how to treat me. Curtis has been worked with Tony Robbins for years, and I call him Coach Curtis. You know what I mean? And every time I reach out to Curtis, hey, Curtis, I thought of you today. Is there anything I can do for you? And his answer is always the same. Nope, you've taught me everything to do, and I got to figure out why I'm not doing it. But he knows that I love him, and he knows that I respect him. And it's like, hey, why aren't you scoring 100 points a day? It's like, I'm working on that. You know what I mean? So Curtis's biggest problem, he just popped up on the screen. So this is why I'm bringing him out, is a lot of people struggle with this, is they're really good at doing something else that's allowed them the flexibility of always covering their bills. They're professionals at always just making it. So instead of Curtis focusing on this and replacing his income forever, Curtis knows exactly what he can do in something that he's done his whole life, personal coaching, to handle that stuff. Is there any of you that today is April 30th? Tomorrow, how many of you are paying your mortgage? How many are paying rent? How many people are going to stay in the same place in the month of May? See, you guys are gonna pull it off. You see what I mean? So it's like, John is, a lot of people that I know on here got great jobs and great income. When Ryan told me what he did for a living, I'm going like, I'd love to do that. You know what I mean? And it's like, but you don't want to survive. You want to thrive. You know what I mean? There's so much more for you to do on this planet. So next question, Matt.
No, thank you so much, Dad, for that answer. I just have a little bit to add, and it's the balance thing. It's something that I learned that's really, really helpful. If you have people in your life and you can't, for whatever reason, get them out of your life, maybe they're your parents or a family member, or maybe even a spouse. I'm not talking about you, but but if that's the situation, right, you have to balance that negativity out with positivity. And sometimes you have to do that personally. Sometimes you have to take that personal time to balance your brain out, because it's just a machine, to be honest, sometimes. And so with emotions, you can feel negative just because you're not inputting a lot of positive and you're just getting dumped on with a lot of negative. So it's good to have a routine. My dad talks about this a lot, have a good daily routine. I've started doing that on and off in my life because I'm human, and I'm sure we all are, but it's something that's very important to balance that out. So I just wanted to throw that input in there, but great answer, Dad. Great question, Nicholas.
That was a great ad.
So the next question is from Kim. She says, what advice do you have for people living in rural areas that don't get to talk with many people on a daily basis and are social media challenged?
Don't be social media challenged.
Yeah, it goes back to learning, right? You have to
Every
be in
day
a
we
learning
get,
phase.
every day we get gooder and gooder. And it's like, listen, if someone's figured out this social media stuff, I'm going to figure out this social media stuff. And what's really cool is you don't have to buy a course or a coach. All you got to do is go on YouTube and say, how can I, or my YouTube channel. And it's like, how can I get a friend? You know what I mean? And I always see these posts about this business that are so true. Why is it that my family won't support me, but I can get all these strangers to support me? There's over 12,000 people that Terry and I have in our organization in MDC, and 99% of them are not people I knew past 4 years ago. I didn't know John. I didn't know Kai. I didn't know Dave. Knew Curtis. but majority of the people that I didn't know. So I was telling someone this the other day. There's a lot of people that I know, Kim, that are in other countries that we cannot ship product to. We cannot. And so to think that I can teach a person in a country that we can't sell any product in, help them become a high life travel digital product person, and then get them to focus on California. Mia Marie, she's a very, very successful business owner and been very successful in this industry. And me and her were going back and forth, and she said, I'm from Canada. And I would tell all the people that get in business in Canada, do you know there's over 40 million people in California? The state of California is, I think, the 4th largest economy in the world. If you separated California from the United States, it's the 4th strongest and biggest production ever. And I told her, I said, wow, I said, if you look at network marketing companies or any marketing companies, the 3 states are California, Texas, and Florida. Do you guys know why? Because people in the other states move from those states to move to that state. And those are the top 5 or 10% of the people that went, wow, Laurel, Montana isn't going to be a place where I'm going to be successful. Living and Broken Branch, Arkansas, or Williston, North Dakota. So I moved from Williston, North Dakota to the big city Billings, Montana, with 100,000 people. And then when I knew I could make more money, I moved from Billings, Montana to LA. Yeah, my career went quite a bit higher. You know, there's just, do you guys notice as a mechanic, there's more cars in California than there is in Williston, North Dakota?
There's a lot of cars in California.
See what I mean? And so you got to do a little bit of your due diligence to understand that where would you want to focus? Where would you want to focus? And so before the internet, before phones, I used to do live presentations in a warehouse. And I would say, how many people have like 200-300 people there? And go, how many people are from California? And it was always less than 1% of the people. And I'd go, where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Nebraska. Why are you here? I want a better lifestyle. Those are people that already moved here for an opportunity. Do you guys catch that? So they just seem to play life at a higher level. And so you got to learn to use the internet. It's simple. It's easy. You got to stop thinking it's intimidating and that you can't do it. So I have people that are 90 years old using Facebook.
Yeah.
And some people are saying, hey, what about the other networks? Until they get like 1/10 of Facebook's people, active people, I'm going to use Facebook. So you guys use another social media and out earn me and then tell me how you did it and I'll use your platform.
Documentation beats conversation, right?
Yeah. Okay, next one.
No, great answer. I think, you know, you have to learn new things sometimes if you want to be in an industry and be competitive and be good at it.
Yep.
And I watched my dad through my whole life do this business in so many different ways and adapt. And the moment that the internet started to become a thing, my dad jumped on that immediately, and a lot of the success, it just exploded. It made it so much easier. And a lot of my daily choice, I watched my dad build from his house in Laurel, Montana. So on the internet, on Facebook. And before that, it was like that warehouse situation where he would get all dressed up nice and then go to the place and be there all day doing meetings and then come home and we'd have dinner with him and stuff as I was growing up. And then I watched him build all of my daily choice from his computer and his chair. Like he just was able to do that. And so I think
And then
there's so much value in it.
Then someone invented Zoom. Holy,
I know. Yeah.
What is going on? Look at all the people that have been on here for an hour and 43 minutes or will watch this recorded.
Right.
Yeah, Zoom. And then some of you are going to get mad when I say this. Not only did the universe, and I believe God created Zoom, but just when people started figuring out Zoom, then a pandemic came out. And people are going, I don't know if video conferencing and Zoom will work. And then all of a sudden we're watching today in the morning when we get up and Al is doing the weather from his backyard on Zoom. So how many of you guys realize that we're watching talk shows and news broadcasts with everybody on Zoom? And people go, I don't know if this is going to work. It's like, some people are still saying that.
No, they did the Oscars and award shows with Zoom too, which was
Yeah,
funny.
and it was like, hey, you know, Curtis is at home. Let's say, Curtis, congratulations on winning Best Actor. You know what I mean? You know, and he's got like his 3 people behind him with masks on. It was just funny as hell, man.
Yeah,
And
it
so
was.
I'm going to keep using Zoom. So I hope that answered your question. We can help you every step of the way.
Yep. So the next question is from Sasha Gay Gordon, and it's, Robert, what's your take on following up with people you don't know that you've sent your capture page to? Should I ask them for a time to get back to them, or is it more the vibe to let them get back to you if they're interested?
Yes, I do this all the time. People don't like me saying this, but whenever I do a meeting of any kind, I can put this on gallery, or you guys can, you know, post so we see everybody. How many of you were sent a link, and when you clicked on the link, you filled out the information and you actually ended up buying something from a company? Raise your hand. Okay, those are the people that I want in my business. So if I send them a link and they do not become a prospect and they do not fill out the free affiliate and they don't buy something, I'm finding people that will. All day, every day. One of the things I had a person recently that read my book, big network marketer. He's made like $30 million in the industry. And I said, what was your takeaway from my book? And it was the same as Max Miller, the guy that helped me write the book. And he says, Robert, you're always having fun and you always feel like you're in a good mood and you're always happy and you're always laughing. And he says, I figured out why. And I said, why? And he says, all you do is spend all day, every day talking to people that are interested and hearing what you want to talk about. He goes, I've never met a faster sorter in my life. And I said, people will stutter or people will say, and I'm gone. It's like, it's like, hey, Ola, got a second? Well, hey, I know, bye. It's like, man, I don't spend any time with people that are not at the right mindset. And here's why, you guys. I don't know if Ola had a fight with his girlfriend before I called him. I don't know if Ola had a bad day at work. See, I don't know. I just know that that wasn't the right time to say something to Ola. Does that make sense? Does that mean I never call Ola back? No. Because when his birthday comes around, I'm like, hey, Ola, this is Robert. Happy birthday. I hope this message finds you and yours blessed. I'm still reaching out and saying nice things or maybe post something on his wall. And it never fails the right people. Ola and I, just so you guys know, have had a relationship that really good friends have. That means that we've been extremely good friends at times. And then there's been times where things have been going crazy in Ola's life and I had to cut him off. So I can be a good friend, but Ola just was not in the right mindset. And so who was it? It was Kai asking me, what do you do? I asked Ola, man, block, delete. Robert's, I cut him out of my life. And then he used Nicholas to get back into my life. But when he came back in my life, he was ready. Every time I talk to Ola now, every time I message him, he's positive. Does that mean he still doesn't have bad days? Of course, we all have bad days. He just knows that he doesn't need to call me in the middle of the night crying and whining about something. It's like, Ola's so smart. He's one of the smartest people I know. Ola probably created a thing on his phone that if he's in a bad mood and he dials my number, it says, no. So, but yeah, you gotta help people learn how to treat you. Don't be someone's dump trucks. Okay. Okay.
No,
Next question.
Yeah, very true. Thank you for the question. The next question is from Rochelle again. She said, or he or she, anyway, I had a customer that purchased over 400 BV on 420, and I was curious. If she signs up as an affiliate today, would it still make her an executive next month, even though she became an affiliate after her purchase?
That is definitely a customer service question. Do not know.
Yeah, I knew you would answer that way.
Yeah. I don't know. I know that people can, I believe that they can go in their customer a deal and click on become an affiliate and agree to all the policies and procedures. And then once they do that, my mind would say, Josh, for one thing, Josh is not an individual that wants to put someone in a bad situation in any way, shape, or form. So if I was assuming without knowing, I believe that they would become executive immediately. But again, I don't know. So that's a customer service thing for sure.
Awesome. And then we got, I think this is a great question to end on. From Danielle, where is a good place to get affirmations on attraction?
Honestly, in this day and age, I would probably say You know, if you put that in Google, I'm the person that puts something like that in YouTube. And when I put something in YouTube, it's like the best affirmations on abundance, the best on wellness, you know, the best on finances, the best on feeling worthy, the best on feeling enough. You know, really, really pinpoint the thing that you want the most, and then go to YouTube and just put in affirmations about feeling enough or worthy or receiving, whatever you got difficulty with, and put that in there. And I'm just one of the persons is that I believe that people get rewarded, and it usually ends up being the video that's got the most views that will start heading you in the right track. I used to put out some affirmations to people and give it to them, but I then realized that there's so many different things. And here's something that you guys got to know about me in the last 2 or 3 years. Man, I really, really, really understand that everyone that watches this video live and recorded, that you're on your own personal journey. And sometimes if I tell you to do things and you don't do them, maybe it's just not time for you to do them. Maybe there's something that the universe or God, whatever you believe in, wants you to learn before you start attracting people and just destroying them. I won't say any names, but this incredible girl reached out to me, and she's brought in through another person in the company. And she was saying the things that they were telling them they needed to do on a daily basis was someone that has a full-time job, a spouse, children. That she said, when I heard all the stuff they were asking me to do, I just said, I can't do this. I just can't do this. And she says, so when I found you and you said, do this and this, talk to as many people as you can, as fast as you can. Your peak of interest should be 15 seconds, and you're asking them to do you a huge favor is less than a minute. And she went, I could do that. And that's all of a sudden when you get excited and all of this stuff. So pretty amazing.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you guys all so much. That's all the questions that we had.
Okay.
All the written ones. I do plan on, we're going to figure out a schedule to start doing these and announce that sooner and earlier.
Yeah.
And another thing
I threw this at Matt at the end of yesterday. So I apologize. We'll make sure that everyone just needs to go to roberthollis.com/free. And that's where the replay of this will be, and the one that we did last time. But sorry for interrupting you, Matt. You're just freaking amazing. So
no worries.
Tell them what you were going to tell them before I.
No worries. I'm glad that we did this. So I'm glad that you decided to do it and stuff. And I think in the future, what I'd really love to do too is give you guys the opportunity somewhere to pre-send in your written questions so we can go through and figure out which ones are the best that can hit the most amount of people, because sometimes we do have people ask the same question. So if your question wasn't answered today, that may have meant it was already answered in a way. So appreciate all you guys so much. We'll figure out a better schedule for these in the future. So thank you guys again, and have a great Saturday. Thanks, Dad.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Love and appreciate you guys. I'm going to unmute you to say goodbye. If you want to unmute and say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Guys, you're
Bye, everyone.
How much, Robert?
Guys, thank you so
Bye-bye.
much, Robert and
Thank you so
Matthew.
much, Matt.
Appreciate it.
Robert.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Robert.
Spot
Okay,
on.
bye-bye.
Have a great
Have a great
weekend.
weekend.
Det var några stycken.
Okay, bye-bye. God
På svenska.
bless.